Okay, it's setting it up.
Yeah.
Setting up. Hello. Welcome, everyone. We It's setting it up. Are getting on here and gonna go over the full moon in Taurus. Myself, Janae, Sansaray, and my dear friend Caitlin. We love getting on here and chatting about energies and all sorts of amazing, spiritual stuff. Caitlin, why don't you introduce yourself and I'll introduce myself after. Oh, there's my dog behind us.
Hey, Janae. My name's Caitlin, and I am a intuitive healer and shamanic astrologer, and I work with the energies of vibration to help transform disturbances in the body, in the home, and in the environment. And yeah, that's about what. Oh, and I make jewelry. I forgot. I always
Yeah, and
forget I
you're
make jewelry. I did
amazing.
that for like
Yeah, you're
27 years.
amazing. Amazing
And
jeweler.
I do custom amulets. Yes. So yeah, I do a lot of things.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm a
amazing.
midlife mermaid.
Midlife mermaid. Yes. Menopausal women in this apocalyptic.
Yes, we're navigating the apocalypse, which used to mean a change. Now it means total biblical destruction.
Oh, it's so fascinating because when I looked it up a long time ago, it said one definition and it's like, yeah, it's like change.
It's
Um,
totally changed. Yeah.
and now it's just means destruction. But I'm going with because I like that word. It's this amazing transformation and shift and the the destruction of an old and then moving
Hmm.
into new energies, and that's what we're doing, and that's what this full moon in Taurus is today. We are going to discuss what these energies are. We still are in Scorpio season, but the full moon is in Taurus, I guess. I'm not the a full-on
Full
astrologist. I just
moons.
basics.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Full
Okay.
moons are always opposite the sun. New moons are conjunct and next to the sun. So we had a new moon in Scorpio, and now we're having a full moon in the opposite, which is Taurus. So that's the polarity, Taurus, Scorpio.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Which well, because
Wow.
well, whatever the energies are, I'm liking them.
uh,
This
okay.
last, yeah, because this week was a little rough. I mean, like, because I always feel these energies like build up. But I've been liking the Scorpio season because my moon is in Scorpio, and so I've just been feeling a little more in tune than I usually am. Which I'm an
Yeah.
Akashic Records librarian. I'm able to tap into the quantum space of all that is and receive information for individuals. That's what my passion is helping an individual find their path and purpose through accessing the Akashic records. And then I also love doing energy work as well, clearing people, animals, and lands, ley lines, all that. And it's, yeah, a lot of fun. So the Taurus energy is very grounding. So I need that. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
feeling today.
Taurus is earth. It's
Okay.
earth.
Yep.
So it is very grounding energy. It's where Scorpio is a little more extreme, like pushes things to the edge. Taurus likes to experience the pleasures of the arts and music and dance, and it likes to just enjoy the finer things in life. Versus Scorpio's like, no, take it all the way to the edge. Let's have the extreme pleasure, the extreme. So
Okay.
there's the polarity. Both like to experience pleasure. One goes way deeper into it than the other.
That
So
is,
yeah. But
yeah.
Taurus is very grounding. It's very, I think of Hathor from Egypt, the nature spirit, because there was a whole time of worshiping the cow and the bull and in our history. And Hathor and Hathor's temple, she's a sacred cow. She represents, as a nature spirit, the spirits of that energy of earth, all the beauty of music and dance and astrology and celebration. So it's like a lot of that, and that was celebrated in the Dendara temple of
Oh,
Egypt.
that's
So I think
beautiful.
Hathor. And
Wow.
she's yeah, she's an amazing nature spirit,
Okay.
Netaru. Yeah.
That's really cool. Because that's what I felt like this last week is really, I mean, I went on a walk every single day to get grounded, to clear what was surfacing, moving into this full moon. There's always energy, there's a heightened energy like the week before the full moon, for me at least. How about you guys out there? Do you start feeling things get stirred up and start needing to be processed and released, and then sometimes it's a few days before the full moon, and then there's like on the full moon, like today for me, there feels like a release, and that's usually every month for me. So
Well, I mean, we're all affected differently according to our different astrologies too. So
right.
it just, yeah. So it's like you can listen to forecasts, but it's really so unique how we're going to experience it. But the whole point of the moon, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of information around the moon that's like, oh, hide from it. It's a negative light. It grows parasites. It's people really are tripping out about the moon. But the whole point of the moon is to be, it's a reflection of this earth plane. So um, it's a time to step out of your routine and reflect. So it's a time to really just break your pattern, do a ritual, do a simple, like even
Mhm.
just writing in your journal, or like just kind of reflect on the past cycle, from the new moon. What was it? What occurred? What happened? How do you, or what were you struggling with? And just bring whatever has happened into a conscious awareness around that time, because it's that potency
Mhm.
has a special quality for us, that light, the illumination, that we can really utilize it for our benefit.
Mhm. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
beautiful. And it really does work because we've applied it. So these beautiful like rituals and or like ceremonial ritual like of reflecting, like you were just saying, so reflect everything that you've been spiritually working on yourself. What is it that you want to really bring into your life that still hasn't been cleared, or old patterns that are still looping? So use these energies through the full moon reflection to really work on them, and doing like meditation, like intention, um like you said, writing on a piece of paper, of all the intentions and anything that you want to really bring into your life. And especially, and with this Taurus, so I did a little research, like with the full moon in Taurus, is to focus on like the abundance, the financial abundance that you want to bring in, looking at like your home life. What is there anything that needs to get grounded in your home life? And just in the self, is there anything to clear out, like low self-esteem, anything like that? So really set your intentions with these energies and work with them. It's super powerful. And with the when you write things down, you can also safely burn it and release it to your guides, ancestors, the universe, so it can work on it and really bring it into your life. I love doing that as well. burn a candle, light incense or sage. Um, and you've taught me how to do like a little altar, which I love.
Yeah, I
On
mean, it's good to have an altar. An altar is like a bank with the energies. You put energy into it. You have, like, you can kind of see my altar over there. There's Kuan Yin. She's on the center. This is my spirit altar that of the spirits I work with. I have another altar in the corner back there, and that is my ancestor altar. So, because I work with specific ancestors. The other thing I just want to say about the full moons in general, it's a releasing time. So,
Mm,
things that you want to release. New
okay.
moons are more like calling in, but you can do your own thing. I like to do a release and then a calling in.
Okay.
So, and it's really a good time to clear your energy field because we are these open energy systems. We're interacting constantly with other energies in our environments and other people, and the electricity and everything is all mixing. So it's a good time to really clear the body,
Mm-hmm.
and there's different ways you can do that. I like the Isis wings where you hold your arms up and
Mm.
out, and then you pull down with this audible sigh. Ah,
Oh, that's
and you
nice.
do that, and that sigh of like falling actually has a very clearing effect. You can also put your hands up in the air and go whoo, and that clears the body, because when you lift your arms up, you actually you'll clear your lower chakras,
Mm,
and then
okay.
clearing the lower chakras actually, no, yeah, clearing the lower chakras also clears, or no, clearing the upper chakras clears the lower chakras. That's how that works. So when
Okay.
you raise your arms up, that action, and this is why we move in the space, because we are these dualistic beings. We have a right leg, in the Egyptian understanding is our right leg step forward is blessing, and the left is clearing. So we got right hemisphere, left hemisphere. We have this dualistic nature. With my hand, my right hand has like a positive spin on my pendulums, and the left is negative, but the fingers are all positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So we have this whole polarity going on in the body, that, and when we activate it by movement, and dance is one of the amazing ways. I love to have moon circles where we dance and move and play music. So, like, doing all the things really helps to blend the two hemispheres, because we're really stuck in a left brain thinking, and then we have these spiritual spaces we go and try to access the right brain, but really we should be mixing and blending the right left hemisphere like all the time, to get that full the full benefits, you know, the spiritual and the taskmaster.
And
So,
doing that,
and it,
getting like that
yeah.
can really activate the body and raise frequency by doing what you just
Mhm.
said. Like, yeah, merging the
Yeah,
hemispheres, doing the moon ceremony, dancing, music. Yeah, it's like it is very healing because I've done it with you, and it's like, whoa. Yeah, it's I recommend everybody do that. Even if it's just help and like today, like take time to play music, dance around your house, set your, or release, like you said, with a full moon, release what you've been working on and what you don't want in your life anymore. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Cut cords. Cord
Okay.
cutting is great too. If you have a sword or some
Okay.
kind of knife, even the
Okay.
selenite, is that what they're called? Selenite knives,
I have a wand, selenite
that's
wand.
not as
Like,
good for cutting. You want like a symbolic cutting.
okay.
I use my dance sword, which is back
Yeah.
there, because I like to belly dance and then swing it around. There's something about swinging a sword around. It just feels really good. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
totally. I have an invisible one. So I have like yeah,
yeah,
it's a light sword, but I do that cord cut and do,
yeah,
my
yeah.
light. Yeah.
And you can cord cut, or you can also just gently release the cords.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because I thought about that the other day when I was going through some
Mm,
transition with a guy I've been dating, and I was like, I'm just gonna gently release these because I don't need to be so queenly. Wah, off with your head, you
ah,
know. So I was like, oh, let's just like untie this and release that, and yeah,
love you. Love you. Uh,
yeah,
that's good
infuse
too.
as much love as you can in all of it. So yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that. Sure.
yeah.
That's so
But
awesome.
yeah, I mean, we're just recovering from the whole selection energy, which was intense.
Yeah.
And I always talk about, the energetic field, how people are seeding the field with these projections,
Mhm.
of doom and gloom. And really, we don't know, you know, nobody knows. So
Oh,
it's like, why are you allowing people who are actually being paid to do this uh, see the field? So
right.
it gets
Well, I think
into,
that's
yeah,
though, well, when I expand out, that's the ultimate lesson is knowing that we're all on our own sacred path through um discernment and learning what energy is and not and understanding, yeah, what seeding the field is when people put their own intentions out there and through social media, all, the news, even billboard, like everywhere we are, it's everybody's own interpretation of what they want to put out there, right? And so but we have a choice whether we want to align with that or not align with that. And that's what I'm, really understanding is that we all are on our own journey and are on our own timeline and we choose what we're going to allow into it. And like you said with this,
definitely. I mean, I think that's, yeah,
yeah.
super important that we're all recognize the individual nature that we
Hmm.
have and that we have our own intuitive guidance. But it's very insidious, the vibration that gets put out from these things, because I know a lot of people don't pay any attention to it, but they still are feeling it
Yeah.
because of the energy field,
Mhm.
and the waves that travel through the energy field.
Oh yeah.
So it's the conscious understanding of like, oh, this is going on, so this is why I'm feeling, these anxieties of other people right now,
Yeah.
because we are these open systems. So having, during these times too, you can clear that energy of the collective, you know,
Wow.
really like, okay, well, these projections are put out and I don't have to participate in that. And I recognize that it got in my field and I can clear it from my field. So,
Yeah. That's super.
yeah,
Yeah, because we do absorb other energies and we are all part of um collective fields. And I'm finding that there just isn't one collective field. It's like because there's different timelines. So it's fascinating with like there's a collective just around women, just about like how we're supposed to,
yes. Can we talk about that for a minute?
yeah. Let's-
Because I know so many women, that wanted a female president
yeah,
so badly that
yeah,
it that they were physically grieving after
yeah.
that woman did not win. And it was just like, and so if you could pull yourself out and go, okay, well, what are they doing with that in
Right.
general? They're triggering all these women who haven't healed this feminine wound, you know, they're just triggering them basically. And
Yeah.
so it's like all these women were grieving, and I was just like, and they were kind of like these older women from the, women's lib era and all that. And it's just like, heal your wound, because first of all,
Right.
that woman is like, you know
Not a
just
woman.
because it's a woman. doesn't mean it's going to be good either. So it's very like, no, woman will solve everything. No, women are all kinds of people, you know,
Yeah,
and that shouldn't be like, if you don't get that,
yeah,
you're still going to be all right. You know what I mean? So it's just like that. If you heal that wound, then you're not going to be triggered every time they pull out the Roe versus Wade, or they pull out, something, because it's just triggers them and they go all into a thing, and it's just
yeah,
like, heal your wounds. If you were triggered in that time, you need to heal your wounds around the feminine, the wounded feminine,
yeah,
because that is, it's a clear sign. If you went into grief around that, it is a clear sign because,
yeah.
these
Well, that's
systems
the
are not working for us anyway. This is
right.
an illusion, right? I mean,
Totally.
are they?
To place your power,
Anybody?
your inner power outside of yourself on a person. So that's what
Yeah.
I yeah. Well, and luckily I can luckily read energy, and I, never got a good energy feeling from her throughout the last 4 years. So how is that even going to change? So, but that's the point of like our own journeys, right? And honoring. That's how
Yeah.
I feel like we're here too, is honor someone else's path, someone else's beliefs, whatever they're locked into, or like having to grieve on that collective, or like holding space for that. But it seems that those of us that think different or don't agree with it, space isn't being held. It's attacks
Yeah,
are,
there's a real intolerance
yeah,
for any kind of dissent. And it's like, when did it become like okay to, like, or not okay to disagree? You know what I mean? Just like, can't we just have a discussion and not be on the same page? It's like,
yeah,
no, you have to be on the same page or you're out. And
yeah.
I think that's remnants of COVID. That's remnants of, this last,
The pitting against each other, because we've always
yeah,
been,
and they're like, oh no, if you're not following along, then you're out of here. You know what I mean? There's
yeah,
no tolerance. Yeah. And
yeah,
then how we just go back to normal and there's no like acknowledging of like, oh, maybe we were over dramatic, or, you know, there's
oh,
no like, by the way, we're
by the
sorry.
way, I should
We
have
kept
force
you out of
feeding
our
an
restaurant.
injection an injection into my yoga studio with my fresh juice, like, and wear a mask. Like, obviously, I'm not. I wasn't for injecting myself with experimental and covering my airways, and we certainly should have had a choice with that. And so now all that's coming out, but the whole, yeah, the energy around that was really wild to go through. That's for sure. Where I
Yeah,
would,
and there's just still these remnants because it's never been really resolved. We just go on. We just, okay, next thing, just keep going on, keep going on,
yeah,
and
because
boy,
we,
has it really created a
that's
divide.
the discernment, right? And that's actually coming to the research and going down all these rabbit holes, and then using discernment and what is our truth with what we're uncovering and discovering, and that goes back to personal beliefs, personal, traumas, or whatever life someone is on path. Everything is like the seeding the field. That was seeding the field, everything, that pandemic that we just went through. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
started a
totally.
long time ago. Uh, that's what I
Well,
was.
it's returning cycle,
It's,
it's a returning cycle, the plague cycle, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that
It's,
was the whole thing.
it is. It's like,
Create a lot of division, and also was part of like the complexity of trying to be in neutrality during this selection.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That was like, whoa, what is, because I had to chase like, what's the core thing that's like really keeping me from this neutral space?
Mhm.
Um, because like I said, we were talking before about, okay, I'm just not into the game anymore, but I was actually hating on the game, which isn't neutrality. So
Right.
it's like the real gift of neutrality is not to have any
Right.
feelings either way.
That's right.
That,
Yes.
yeah. So getting down to that, well, you can't get there if you don't clear whatever the issues were, you know,
Yeah.
that are at the root of that. So all the healing work you can do, you find the root of it,
Right.
and then you can pull it out and then clear it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just like, oh, that was the root of
Yeah,
it,
that was
was
fun.
the way we were treated at COVID, the way we were treated during those times. That was part of my, like, wait a minute, why is this a good choice? Like, but anyway, so and it's really neutralized a lot of that energy just to even figure that out. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I think that's another big purpose why we're here is to find that 0 point, find that neutrality through, each experience that we have. And it's not easy, it's like, oh,
Oh, it's like the hardest thing.
it's really
The hardest
hard.
thing.
But it's a constant and it's exhausting, but it's a constant inward, like, oh, that just triggered me when that person said it. Why did that trigger me? And it's just like you just keep going in deeper, go, oh, because of the PTSD because of COVID, or a lot of times from childhood as well. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's quite the journey here. But the ultimate is being in that neutral place and really honoring each other where we're at. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
exciting.
totally.
Today I feel very excited about it. Yesterday morning, not so much. I'm like the roller coaster of energies, like, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's, part of menopause that we discuss also. It's this, the menopause in this, in these energies can be intense. And so the hormonal
Yes.
um uh, but
Yeah.
overall it's like, it's actually really fun to be here and figure it out. And especially with you going through all these. So, Caitlin, let's discuss.
Bye.
I want to ask you some questions.
All right.
Ah, so with your healing, how did you when was the first time that you um like your aha, like, oh, there's something bigger here for me to learn and step into, like your energy healing? Like, when was the first time that you, like, that awakening that everyone talks about?
Mm. Well, I'd say it was after I got out of a really tragic relationship with a karmic soul that it was just an intense, like, 13-year thing. And then I started working with a shaman and in my area on Kauai, and started working with ayahuasca. And
Mhm.
so that first ceremony I did with ayahuasca was super powerful. And it was just a small group of us, which I recommend if you're going to do that.
Mhm.
Three, I think it was three of us, and one of them was my good friend. And she was also struggling in her relationship and had finally let it go too. And it was the same issue, which was drugs, with the partner, and just, the whole thing. And yeah, so part of that was just going into this more expansive reality, which is there actually, but our left brain kind of prevents us from really getting out there. But seeing all the energies, experiencing the release of a deep, deep sadness that
Mhm.
was in, just like stuck in my, I mean, it was like, because really with the journey I began with birth and child and early childhood. in my journeys. I did 12 ceremonies, 13 ceremonies, but yeah, so it started just like at the beginning, when I was born, and just like releasing all this sadness when you're born into, I don't know, it just came out like, hey, I'm ready, here I am. And my parents were just like, we're just dealing with our stuff. We can't like,
Right.
you know, so, and dealing with a mother who was very depressed and, all
Mm,
that. So releasing all that just
yeah.
like completely shifted everything. And then I was like, oh my gosh, ayahuasca was like a grandmother to me. She was just very loving and kind. And yeah, she just really helped me. Yeah,
Oh,
so that was the beginning.
wow. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I haven't done any of that. I I I'm I'm a control freak and I do not want to be out of my body. So
Well,
I just
I tell you, I loved being out of my body. I loved it. It
you
was
loved it, yeah.
amazing. And you get,
That's awesome.
you start to get a lot of visuals. You start to get a lot of really interesting, there's these kind of, yeah, they're like kind of creatures, kind of, but they're fluorescent. It's like, it's this really interesting
Wow.
visuals you get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, but
that's
that,
cool.
is like, it's actually all here, these mushroom journeys, all the journeys you could take. It's all here if we could just tune into it. But a lot of our left brain doesn't allow us to tune into
Yeah.
the mystical nature that's already here.
Yeah.
So,
Or the
you know,
frequencies, because we talk about frequencies, so we're born into this and we're not taught to like, oh, everything's energy and how can we align with those, in
oh
the
yeah, we're not taught so much about what the possibilities and the magic that's already here, you
already.
know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
already here. And
But
so,
that's
I mean, you already see the quantum and go all out,
I
and you
do.
don't need it.
I don't need the
You don't
others.
need to like,
Yeah. It actually makes me
but
really
some of us,
I've only been stoned a couple of times in my whole life and I just can't. It makes me so I'm like, I just know I'm not gonna like anything else. But it is easy for me to tap into those other energies and receive and just get information from
yeah,
that.
yeah. Because
Um,
also, I mean, I hesitate to talk about my journeys just because people are overusing a lot of these psychedelics and it's not grounding them.
and they're badly
So
guided
there's,
too by people that
oh
aren't
yeah, there's like,
really
I
good.
was so lucky that I had this, and when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, gross. Why do people want to throw up? And, because there was like a group that was doing that on the island because they grow it in Hawaii too. They grow it on the
Yeah.
Big Island. So, yeah, so there's a lot of, at first, like usually I'm repulsed by things I'm actually supposed to do. So it's just kind of funny how it
Awesome.
worked out. And then, she was like, you have to move. And I was like, oh no, okay, but I kind of knew because I was left with my post relationship. I was just like, okay, I'm doing the things that I love to do, but I don't feel like, I don't know, there's something missing. I'm just kind of numb. I'm like, I don't know. There was not this stoke for life, that I used to have. And,
Oh,
so it was
okay.
just like it was still there. It was just like clouded by a lot of other stuff that needed to be cleared out because we are holding all this stuff in our field, in our energetic field, right? So I think of that lady who does the biofield tuning, that
Okay.
Eileen, what's her, Mikuzak? She started to notice she was doing the tuning fork work long ago, and she started to notice the sounds being different away from the body. And I kind of see it like, yeah, we have these toroidal fields around us.
Yeah.
They're about 6 feet. We can expand them and compress them. But that there was like the past was on the outer parts of field, the energetic field. It's still all with us.
Yeah.
So, if we learned a little more about physics of this reality, we go to the quantum physics, which is, a whole out there. I don't even know what that is, but the the regular physics that's here, if we learned about the ether and learned about the energy field, we would understand why we
Yeah.
need to clear out things
Yeah.
because it gets to be too much. We're already carrying lineage stuff, so there's just a
Yeah.
whole thing with that,
Totally.
you know.
Well, and
And
it's
then we accumulate
discipline
all this stuff
too.
through our experiences,
Hmm.
and if there's not a pathway of clearing, then it becomes, just such a huge burden that
Yeah.
we can't expand
Yeah.
further. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
We're getting bogged. Yeah. We're
yeah,
getting, because the energies, yeah, if it is bogged down, it's so dense. And then it can, and then we're feeling other people's, there were just like these doors, like these revolving doors with all these different energies of, that don't serve the self in that,
yeah, yeah. They
so
have no purpose anymore. They're an experience that is, we're supposed to learn from, but, there are ways that they just really, and I talk to people about this all the time. It's just like your journey, your health journey is a shamanic journey. It's an underworld journey. So you
mm,
can know the light. You don't appreciate fully the light until you've experienced the
yeah,
darkness,
yeah,
how dark. And, you know, some people have more that they have to learn than others, So,
right.
but
It's
it's
like,
definitely
yeah,
it's worth the journey
it is a
because you
journey.
can get
It
to a
is the journey.
place. It is a journey. Yeah.
I've gone so full circle with like what we're doing here. Oh, the dark and it feels it's been way out of balance. That's what it feels like. And we're going, like you said, it's cyclical. So now we're going back into balance. And we had to learn through all of our life experience. And because things were stacked against us too, the second we were born. So it's like we weren't taught everything that we have now come to realize with energy and the shamanic journey, the hero's journey. I don't know if you've heard of that one too. So it's like a hero's journey. And now I just think of things really simple. It's like, okay, what have we gone through up until this point? How do we clear what doesn't serve in this now? And it really did shape us of who we are today. And we want to be totally in our heart space and in the higher frequencies of love and joy. That's for me at
Yeah.
least. Um,
Yeah, because
sure.
that's a part of our work here is to help, keep the vibration high in so that we can help others,
Yeah.
because you go through a healing journey and then you're able to go, oh, okay, I can now be of service to others, you
Yeah.
know,
And
in the
that's what you're
healing in their,
explaining.
yeah.
So another
That's
question. So yeah, so
oh.
that was your awakening. That's awesome. And then you got moved. Then so you're like, oh, now
That
I'm
was
on.
9 years ago, by the way. So
Wow. Okay.
that was 9 years ago. And
Yeah.
even when I was like I moved and was starting the journey. I was like, oh my God, this is going to take forever. But it's been a joy. It really has.
Yeah.
But I remember looking back going, oh my God, this is going to take forever for me to do all this. But
Yeah.
it's, and it goes on, but it gets easier
It does.
because
Yeah.
it's like, I don't have all the things. Now I'm knocking out, and now it becomes like, you know, different other things and deepening. So it's like an onion, it's like there's layers and layers and layers. Anyway,
There's
go ahead.
like
What were you gonna
laughter.
say?
I just saw this like, yeah, no, it's like through all these like laughter, tears, sweat, joy, sadness. So we like all of these, but it does get easier.
Yeah,
So thing might show up and you're like, oh, okay,
it
this
does
I've
get easier because you get clearer. You like start to clear the path more.
yeah.
And then you could
Mhm.
use, and that's why the moon cycles, you know, I'm never like, oh yeah, I'm good. I cleared everything and now I can help others. I'm not like that. I'm like, I can help others. I have some tools. I can see energy now. I'm clear with my energy and boundaries, but
Yeah.
I know I have more work to do.
Yeah.
There's always
Well, it's
more
an
work to do.
endless
So
journey. I don't think it ever ends until
it
we're
is,
not here. And that's
well, yeah, it should be. It should be an endless journey.
an endless journey. And then we come back maybe. But yeah, so what about because then you have experienced like healing or like you went to Egypt with a priestess and had some downloads there. So that what was your next
I
step?
like the way you do downloads, some downloads.
Yes. Some bouncing downloads.
Yeah, I
um
went on a journey. I went two trips to Egypt.
oh wow. Okay. Wow, it's so
Two trips
amazing.
to Egypt. We followed we start at the Sphinx and we go follow the temples through as each one relates to the chakras, and you end up in the Great Pyramid, the crown chakra. So
Oh,
there's a whole like activation you have in the Great Pyramid, in
wow.
the yeah, that crypt that's you lay down in it, and then she does all these things over you, and the energies in it are incredible. They're amazing. Definitely have to prepare your energy field to go and do
Okay.
things like that, because it
Yeah.
is such high vibrational energy happening over there.
Right.
It is like, because it's an intersection of a lot of ley lines, or they're intersecting right under the Great Pyramid. So the energies feel really good there.
Wow.
Um, well,
I
plus
can
I had Venus, my Venus line runs through there. So that is,
oh,
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 yeah.
that's
So
awesome.
that just made it better. But other people, people have different experiences, of course,
Yeah.
because of their energetic, their astrology lines too, running through there. So
Okay.
it's, yeah, like different temples, you could definitely feel different things, different
So cool.
reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so and then you discovered biogeometry, and then that's what you're really amazing at because you've helped me heal things in my body, and it can be remote as well. I know we've done videos on that, but yeah, you so then you is that where you discovered biogeometry is in Egypt?
Yeah, the first trip I discovered it, and
Okay.
then I was just hit with this. We were just doing a little exercise around it because the priestess that was leading us was also had taken the courses and was or
Mm,
taken one course, and she was super into it. And so she had one of the pendants on from Ibrahim Karim, and
okay.
she was showing us this mandala project, that his daughter did, creating with these shapes, different mandalas for the teeth, for the different parts of the body, right? And so
Yeah.
it was this coloring book. And she gave me one, and I was like, okay, so I picked this one, and I picked the teeth, which is funny because I was totally like uh, dealing with a tooth issue. And
Okay.
I was like, this is the work I'm going to do. I don't even know what it is. It's like,
Oh,
because I
great.
hadn't really been exposed to vibrational physics. I didn't really understand it. I mean, I understood like stuff about spiritual spaces and stuff, but I didn't really understand, the energies of the earth and our energies. So then I ended up during the pandemic, went and took the courses because they went online, because they used to just teach in one part of
Oh,
the United States for like a week, and they'd cram you
okay.
in with all this information. And so I ended up doing the courses during the pandemic online, and that was amazing. I mean, every day my mind was just being like, I'm
Awesome.
expanding. I kind of can't handle it. But it just helped me understand and integrate everything around spiritual work and why we do spiritual work, and
Yeah.
what we're living in. And there was just like a huge breakthrough in my understanding of energy.
Wow.
So, and then I went back to Egypt with all that knowledge,
Wow.
and yeah, it was like the yeah, so I experienced it in a totally different way. And,
Some
had another activation in the Great Pyramid. And yeah, I was just like ready when I
very
came
cool.
back. And I learned astrology. So that's another part of working with energy and understanding our individual energies and
Right.
um, the, how we
And
move
how
in the
they just
space.
really and how to heal the body with these energies. Like that's like
Yeah.
so
Well, how to
amazing.
create balance with the
Yeah.
energies too.
Yeah.
So, you know. so
And it,
now, so now I'm like combining everything. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to combine the astrology. I use the astrology for everything.
yeah.
Because that's
The
kind of your
blueprint,
energetic
really, I mean, it's
blueprint. Yeah,
fascinating what
the cosmic.
astrology is, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
I mean, it's old
little
science.
blueprint on how we can navigate in this realm is through
Yeah.
the and our own personal chart when we were born. And I still don't, I mean, I still don't quite get it. I'm getting better, but I
Yeah,
know
but
it's
you've
important.
learned a lot. You've
I've
learned a
learned
lot,
a
and
lot. Yeah. Well, the way that I
then
tune,
you can
yeah, it's
go
like
ahead.
it actually weaves with the astrology. The like the energies that
Mm.
I'll see in the Akash actually line up with where the planets are, stars for individuals, and just for where we're at. So that's super fascinating to me. Um,
Yeah. And we're
so
both Virgo rising, so
yes,
we have that in
multiple risings. Yeah.
common.
Oh, I love it. I just love it. Today is such a good day. So that's where uh, I'm just happy that I feel good today because it's been intense. I'm sure everyone, we are the ascension symptoms, have been talked about. Are people going through just body stuff and I because of the whatever you want to call it, ascension, great awakening, or like it's energy shifts. We definitely are in an energy shift, and our bodies are try to adjust in these expansions. And so,
Yeah, and that's why it's important to utilize and create a relationship with this earth. You know, this earth has so much healing for us.
mhm,
If we create a relationship, I do a lot of reciprocity with the land here where I am. And
yeah,
I also collect from the beach. I work with some abalone pieces and sea glass and things. And I'm in constant giving with the land and the nature spirits of the land. So in Egypt, I really connected with the nature spirits and they're the spirits of the land. So,
yeah,
and then they're called Neteru, and the Neteru they're masters of the net. So they're associated with a particular energy
mhm,
and, like earth, air, water, fire.
yeah,
And they also have an animal that's associated with that. And
mm,
then you kind of work with that energy. They were not necessarily always gods and goddesses. They were kind of known as just energies, masters of the net. The net they're talking about is the web of energy that we live in, that we live in
yeah,
this energetic grid, right? And we're in it. So, and they were the masters of it. They had understood the alchemy. So they understood how to trans mute a lot of energies, and they
yeah.
had tools. So a lot of the flail, the crook and the flail, the different dowsing tools they're
Okay.
holding are actually alchemical tools. So they were able to transmute a lot of energies and to transform and work with. So
That is, yeah, and it's true. So it's like it working and making offerings too. So I now
yeah, the offerings really important.
and they work because I find that my day goes
They
easier
totally work.
or
Yeah.
synchronicities happen. Like when I go for a walk, I, offer with, if I have a snack or some tobacco, or, just anything, some fresh water, do an offering before your walk or your hike.
Coffee. Love
coffee.
coffee too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
coffee. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and it is
I
just
mean, at my
working.
altars, I have coffee, I have
Okay.
alcohol,
Oh, I love that.
and water. They
Yeah,
love that. And sometimes wine. Sometimes I put wine on there. So, and then I
that's
burn smoke, you know,
yeah, yeah.
a lot of smoke
You
and
save.
offer them. But you have to say it. Everything in this reality is like, if you are
Yeah,
making offerings, you have to say, ancestors, this, I'm offering you this smoke. This is for you, you know, and you have to, you know, spirits of the land, here, enjoy this tobacco. Spirits of the, you know, spirits of the water, enjoy this tobacco. Whatever you're offering, you have to direct it with your voice out loud. That's what like is like kind of like the like spell casting. You have to say it out loud.
mm,
And our voices, you know, we have frequencies, we have
right,
sound healing abilities through our voice.
right.
So it's all about really saying it out loud. It's really important and doing that
Yeah, it is.
and creating that
Well, because it's
and
like
creating the relationship, you
yeah,
know,
relationship.
the
Because they're
land is
all there.
really,
Yeah,
yeah, it's here. They're here regardless, you know.
yeah.
So that's the thing. We got to really like acknowledge, and I get so much energy and healing from the earth. You know, I it's just amazing
Yeah,
how.
so do I. That's why I was like, went on a walk every day. And even if it's just around, you don't have to go on well, I love going on the big hikes, but just a walk around, wherever you're living, around the block, around, I mean, obviously in the woods, but I also have just my road here. And so I walk up, it's very steep, but I just made sure I did it every day. And it just is so helpful because it releases unwanted energies and and it just grounds and brings in, it balances out the energies because we're working with the earth. And so, I have a couple of, I mean, I love all the trees, but a couple of them are just like, I really connect with, and they help me clear if I'm,
Yeah,
going
I
through
know
going,
trees are the alchemy. You
mm,
know, trees are the alchemy. They're they have such a power, and they're yeah. I can't even.
yeah.
I love the tree.
It's actually unexplained. Like I can't, yeah, it's like, so it's all,
Yeah, I
almost,
know it's that's what I mean. I was like,
they just fill me
but
up so much. Like there's just, especially the redwoods, because pretty sure I was
yeah.
a redwood in a past life, but or in another
Okay,
life,
we can
or
talk
I
about
am.
that.
So yeah. Oh, this is so amazing. So I love always talking to you, Caitlin. Um,
So fun.
what should we cover anything else? Are we
No,
complete?
I think
Okay.
we're
Maybe
complete.
some
It's been about
last
an
minute
hour.
recommendations for for the full moon. So like, how to release and yeah, for this full moon in
Okay,
Taurus. What are you gonna
I
do?
always well, I'm actually going to a yoga studio, Ayurvedic studio, and I'm going to lead a moon ceremony. So, what I would do, I
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
So, what I would do always is create sacred space. So, we need to call in the elements.
Mm-hmm.
So, earth, air, water, fire. So, look it up, learn how, and start to relate to what each direction, what element is associated with each direction. So, you know, we did earth is Taurus is earth. So we're really honoring the earth in this one.
Right.
But
Okay.
when you want to create a sacred container, you know, if you're doing a little ceremony, have a little something to represent earth, have a something to represent air, like
Okay.
a feather, have something to represent the south, which is fire, um, like a stone, you know, you can have a fiery stone like carnelian,
Mm,
have something to represent water, you know, a little dish of water.
okay.
Um, so, and you just create a sacred circle because circles are very centering. So you can create a circle, and then you can be in the circle and call in the directions and ask for protection for this rite. And then when you call in the directions, then you can begin. And I like to use a drum, but you can use a rattle or some kind of instrument, because the sound is really great for getting things, raising the vibration and getting heard, our prayers and things that, using sound frequency. And I like to work with the spiral. The spiral is actually, it's when we see it written or drawn in the walls or things, it's actually meant to be three-dimensional. So it's a
Oh,
vortex. The spiral represents a vortex. So
oh,
when you're
yeah.
releasing, what I like to do is walk counterclockwise around. And of course, I have a fire in the center. So I walk counterclockwise around the circle and I say what I want to release out loud. I command it, because also the confidence of our will and intent is part of how we do ceremony too. So you have to be really confident, like, I release, da, da, da. I release, find a way to say it. And then when you're complete and you cut cords, take the knife and, cut the cords or gently release the cords
Yeah.
nicely
Yeah.
for those that you still love, but, didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then you go the other way, clockwise. And clockwise, you start to call in the things you want.
Okay.
Calling in.
Right.
You can even have a vision. Holding vision is actually better than prayer in a lot of
Mm,
ways. You can have a whole
okay.
vision around the thing you want. Don't worry about the details. See yourself embodying that and then releasing it. And it's very important that you thank the directions when you're done.
Mm,
And so you thank each direction and you release each direction. So
okay.
you release that energy. You don't have them holding the energy. So you create sacred space, you release sacred space.
Okay. Well, I
And you
love
could
it.
say the circle is open but never unbroken. You could say
I
that at the
love
end.
it. Okay. Oh,
And sing
that's
songs and,
yeah.
create joy.
Yeah.
Also, just calling things in with laughter. Like
Yeah.
we used to do hilarious. We'd be like, to start laughing, because that is also an amazing way to bring in
Really
the magic. We need more laughter and
really
silliness, really.
raises frequency, I think, is when, yeah, there's
Yeah.
laughter and we really,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how we can bring joy in and clear. Oh, that was
Yeah.
beautiful. So that's what I'm going to do. So thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Always
Everybody do
eavesdropping
that.
on our conversation. We kind of go all over. I don't know. We always think we're going to focus on something, one thing, or so
One
we,
thing.
uh, yeah, several things today, and it was, yeah, a lot
Intuitive.
just intuitive. Yeah. So it's just like, uh, yeah. So anyway, so if you feel called to, please comment in our comments and let us know what kind of ceremonies you do, what do you honor the moon cycles, and let us know, what if you didn't and you're going to tell us about it. Um, and we'll see you on the next Zoom whenever we decide to jump on live and break our pattern. we're, we're trying to pattern break on doing these. So,
Yeah, pattern break.
yeah,
Pattern break creates new realities. So
pattern
just
break
remember that.
creates realities. Yes, for yourself. I
New
love that.
realities.
We can talk about that on the next one. We can really get into that
Oh,
one.
we've talked about
I know,
it.
but I love it. Pattern breaking and all right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you again for joining us, and I'll put all like some
Okay.
or description and how you can get a hold of Caitlin if you want to get a reading from her and myself. And we'll see you next time. All right. Bye, Caitlin. Don't
Bye.
say you don't know how to